Okay guys, welcome back to another video, and I say welcome back. If you have not seen this channel before, if you've stumbled across this video, please hit subscribe. We'll be bringing you a lot more content, PC, modern gaming and retro gaming. Now, if you have seen my videos before, you've probably seen the last video that I made, which was about returning my 3080 laptop, as I thought the performance in that wasn't good enough for the money for what was actually in the system. If you want to know more about that, there's a link below, or just check out my channel. Now, you can see we've already ploughed into this video about my new PC, and this PC is a custom built PC. I didn't get the bits myself because, you know, shortages at the moment, it's pretty impossible to do so, but I found a bespoke PC maker through Facebook, and I'd be happy to share his link if anybody's keen to get a high-spec PC. And this is a high-spec PC. Let's just do a quick rundown of exactly what I ended up going with, and it's fully bespoke to what I wanted, and took a bit of guidance by him as well. So first off, you would have seen the unique case, and I say unique because it is a vertical GPU stand. It's not without its flaws, which I will show shortly, but it is a Sharkoon Rev 200, obviously RGB, comes with the 5 fans, although I had to switch those out for better cooling performance. The only issue with this case, with it being a vertical, as you can see here, we've got the top section there for all the inputs, and the only problem is just with this one cable, and it's the display port. Obviously it's quite a large cable, quite a large connector there, and I'm just a little bit worried about the bending of the cable once the lid's on. Other than that, absolutely stunning case, great airflow. Here's some more footage of it in the dark. But what else is in the PC, I hear you asking? So the motherboard, we've got an MSI mag. We went Z490 Tomahawk, and then for the processor, we've got an Intel. I know a lot of people are kind of split between AMD and Intel. I was happy to get Intel's an i9 10th gen 108050K. So 10 cores, really good performance for value for money as well. And obviously you can see the rest there. So we've got the AIO cooler. It's a 240 millimeter there mounted onto the back, or the radiator is mounted onto the back. Really cool kind of reflective display on the actual pump. Memory, we've got the two bits there, as we are going to jump into some gameplay, as I'll talk about that. But just to round off the actual hardware, we've got the two sticks of 8 gig, so 16 total. It's running 3200. So it's a fairly good memory, and that's the only thing that I might upgrade in the future. I don't really need more than 16 gigs for gaming at this current state. Moving through, we've also got, and I am speeding up some of this benchmarking stuff just to show the performance here. So we've got 2 terabytes in there, 2 separate drives. I went with the M.2 NVMe, 1 terabytes each. And then the all-important graphics card, which is the main reason why I probably didn't buy parts myself, because you just can't get hold of these. I paid a reasonable price for this whole PC, and this is running on a 3070 from Gigabyte, the 8 gigabyte gaming OC card, and it actually really performs really well, as you can see here. Straight away into some Red Dead 2. The main reason why I wanted to upgrade really is because of this game, and I gotta tell you, I'm so glad I did the upgrade. This is so much better than the performance I was getting from the 3080 Scar 15 that I had previously. Absolutely looks incredible. Obviously I've gone out and got a good monitor, but I just absolutely love this game, and I love the performance that I'm now getting through this beast of a machine. Just to finish off, it's running on the 750 power, or 750 wattage from Gigabyte as well, the P750GM. Obviously you've seen the RGB fans. As I mentioned, I did have to switch out the stock ones. I can't remember the brand we went with in the end, but I cannot hardly hear this running even whilst after a long gaming session. It does run the GPU to just under 70 degrees Celsius, which isn't too hot, not bad at all. To be, and it is slightly overclocked as well, so not too bad performance wise in terms of thermals. And like I said, with this case, you can't really hear any hum, any buzz. You can't barely hear the fans at all. CPU wise, it's really chilled, running, as you can see here in GTA 5, between sort of 62 and 75 it bounces up to, but it's typically around 65, I think, from multiple games. And here, these settings on all these games, until we get to some of the Call of Duty gameplay, is basically everything's on max. Red Dead 2, I did tweak a couple of things down just to get it to perform consistently at about 70 frames per second, 75 frames per second, depending on where you are in the map. But here you can see in GTA 5, I know it's a bit older, but it still looks incredible, especially on this is running, everything I should also say is 1440p. And it just looks amazing. I didn't think that this game, being as old, I know it's had a lot of updates and all that jazz, but I just didn't think it would look this good. It basically looks, obviously it's urban, but it looks as good as Red Dead 2 in some cases. And running at around 90 frames per second maxed out is absolutely fantastic. So we are going to jump into some Call of Duty here, as I mentioned. So this is full settings on, including Ultra on the ray tracing, DLSS set to quality, and I then will do a benchmark with no ray tracing, and then on low settings, just to see the competitive side of things, if that's what you're into. If you're into visuals though, ray tracing is a good option here, running at about 90 frames per second. I chose this map to do all the benchmarking on because I know it's not the biggest, but for some reason when I'm playing through this game, it seems to be that this map is the one that struggles the most. So this is a kind of worst case scenario. Other maps on this game will perform a lot better. Some running at sort of 110, 115 max settings, which is pretty good if you're asking me. Now the monitor I've got is, as I said, 1440p. What is it? It's 165 hertz. So I'm kind of aiming for that, but a little bit under. I'm not too bothered with. So as we see here, with everything on, it was 90, 95. Just under 100 frames per second. And here, if we turn ray tracing off, we're going to go consistently at least 100, typically about 110 up to 120, depending, again, what's going on in the map. And it is hard to run a live benchmark because the variables are just, there are so many variables. But I think 110, 115 consistently, with a little dip under and a little bit of overachievement as well, is very good if you want to turn that ray tracing off. Don't ever really see the benefit of ray tracing in a Call of Duty, or at least in this game. I know other games will vary, and we'll get to that as we look into Control, which has some interesting different selections for graphics. But yeah, very good performance from high settings there. And this is everything on low, obviously ray tracing off. I think DLSS here is also set to what did we do? We did performance, I believe. Yes. So everything else is low, and going well over 200 here. 200 is kind of the bottom, but up to sort of 225 as an average, maximum 250 depending on what's going on. And again, I just think that's really good performance, considering this seems to be, for me anyway, the most challenging map that Call of Duty Cold War produces. For some strange reason, it's small. I think there's a lot going on the outside that you can't see, especially with the roof and stuff, because I know you can still drop bombs and things and be affected by that. And with it being small, there is a lot of action going on, explosions, gunfire. So maybe that's got something to do with it. But we're going to jump over to Warzone now, and we're just running solos purely as a benchmarking. So this is everything as max with ray tracing on. There is no DLSS or DLSS at the time of filming this. So we're just running a quick solos, and I'm cutting out a lot of the boring stuff just to try and give you a benchmark. So everything on max, as I said, with ray tracing on. We are looking at about 110. Again, this is going to vary massively depending on the area. But I got at least one kill here, although I thought I was going to mess that up. I was kind of rushing a little bit just to try and get this this benchmarking out. So now we're going to run everything on low and ray tracing off, and you're looking at about 150 frames per second here. Again, you could tweak these and find what works for you. I would have liked to have got the 165, and as you can see here, it does kind of bounce around a little bit. So sometimes it does hit that max for me of 165, but 150 is pretty good anyway. So I noticed that I am just constantly kind of talking here. So I wanted to move on to Control, quite a new game, one of the newer games. And here, this is basically with everything set to max, DLSS off, and ray tracing down. Well, it's kind of 3 out of the 5, sorry, are selected as on. And you're getting about 75 to just under 80 frames per second consistently. Again, it's going to vary depending on the arena you're fighting in and what's going on. But I thought, 75, 80 frames per second is pretty good with close to max settings. Ray tracing in this game is a bit weird because I don't often see the benefit of it. Here, as we changed the selection, so now we're running everything as high, and then we're setting the DLSS to the lowest. It's on still, but it's the lowest resolution. So basically, the game's running, or some of the game is running to the lowest resolution it can. But then I believe the DLSS is kind of upscaling it back up to 1440p. And here it really improves the frame rate. As you can see, we're running 120 with a fairly lot going on, and it does seem to be doing well. So in terms of the actual visuals, you won't be able to see the full benefit here, and I can't really make up my mind on whether I prefer it like this or whether I prefer a lower frame rate with the visuals supposedly improved. It's hard to really even tell the difference. It will take a keen eye to really see that. So now we're running, I think, natively at 1440p with no ray tracing and no DLSS on, and again we're now back to the sort of 75 frames per second mark, which is interesting because that's what we were getting before with some ray tracing on and DLSS on and set to the max resolution. So I don't know, there's a lot you could play around here to tweak it to exactly how you want, but it's more down to performance because the visuals, again, I'm not sure how much you'll be able to see. I don't think they change too much. You get a bit of different shadows and a bit of different brightness and reflections, but it's not a huge amount of difference in the visuals. And even a game like this, although you need that smooth high frames per second, you don't see a huge difference from 75 to 120. But I'll do some more testing on that because I haven't really dug into that. So now I just wanted to show an older game, but only slightly, a couple years old now, I guess. Doom Eternal, one of my favourite first-person shooter. I'm a bit out of practice here because I haven't played it since it came out, and I just couldn't stop playing it at that time, but my reflexes and what the buttons do is kind of lost a little bit on me here. But as you can see, everything's set to ultra nightmare, so maximum settings, and we're just under 200 frames per second as an average, which is pretty incredible considering I had to play this on my old laptop. I don't even know what settings I was getting there on low settings or adaptive settings. It was probably about 50 frames per second. So this just feels unbelievable. I can't believe how good it looks and how good it feels. And then we're going to just round off the footage here with a bit of Wreckfest, just because I know that I put in a lot of shooters there. But I just wanted to show that basically any game that you plug this into at the moment, it's going to look incredible. And I know YouTube compression and render compression and all those things, and it's not really the true. It's only going to be this footage is, although I'm rendering it in 4K, it was running in 1440p, and YouTube's going to upload it in 1080p, so you're not going to really see the benefit unless you're sat in front of one of these devices. If you're still running a laptop, if you're still running on old PC hardware, I didn't think the upgrade was going to matter that much, but I'm telling you, it really does. It's literally blown me away how good this looks. I honestly, I spent quite a good chunk of money on this, and I didn't know if it would live up to my expectations, but it's actually exceeded them by a lot. So again, really happy on this. If there's anything further you'd like to see in terms of the hardware, in terms of benchmarking, let me know. I'm happy to tinker and play, but this video actually took me quite a while to get out because I just got so immersed in every game I was testing. I wanted to just run a quick benchmark, and I ended up playing for a couple of hours in each game. So there's some professional pictures as well, just to finish this video off. So yeah, let me know what you think, guys. I know my last video was quite controversial. I got a lot of mixed reviews on that. People enjoying my openness and my own personal preferences on the laptop that I sent back. But a lot of people being a bit negative as well. So keen to hear your views on this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. I know it was a bit rambly, but all the best. And the next video I upload will probably be when I've got my proper gaming corner set up. So again, please subscribe to see what I do there. Thanks very much.